Everyone has tried to forge a map, but only few have the patience, the skill, and the know-how to create compelling and fun levels. Well, I can't tell you what exactly makes a good arena, but I can give you a few tips and tricks that'll have your forged maps looking like Bungie themselves made it in no time. The first trick is the freeze. It does exactly what you would think it would do. It freezes objects in place so that you can create floating platforms or ceilings without supports. Now, you can't freeze physics objects. Physics objects are those that will move around for you in-game, i.e. vehicles, weapons, etc. If you can move it by pushing a grenade, it's a physics object. If not, it's called a static object. There are two ways that I know of to freeze an object. The first is to place another object beneath the one you want to freeze. Then, once the object you want to freeze is in place, delete the support object. Congratulations! You've just frozen your first piece of scenery. The other method used to freeze objects takes a little more time, but is good if you want to freeze something at a specific angle or inside a small space where you can't fit a support. You pick up the thing you want to freeze and hold it exactly where you want it to stay. Then, pause the game and save your map. Exit the game, and the next time you come back in, the object you were holding will be frozen in its last position. Easy! The second method is great for smoothing out your maps or making them seem more professional. It's called merging, and it lets you blend two objects together. Great for doing things like making a large object fit into a small space or making curved walls. Once again, you can't merge physics objects very well. Unless you've got them secured, they'll slip out, but static objects still work just fine. To merge, place the first object where you want it and then highlight and press X. Change it so that it doesn't spawn at the beginning of the round and set the spawn time to give you enough time to place your second object. I'm going to go with 45 seconds for this example. Once again, it's a good idea to place some sort of indicator pointing at this object, as you won't be able to see it when placing your second object. I usually use spawn points for this because they have a nice handy arrow on them. Once you've got everything in place, your next step is to pause the game and restart the round. This is where timing comes in. When the round starts, your object will no longer be there, but it will appear after 45 seconds. This means that you have 45 seconds to put your second object where you want it. Once you've done this, just sit back and wait for the first object to spawn. Once it does, voila! You've merged your first two objects. Now, as a warning, once you've merged an object, don't try and pick it up again. You'll have to merge it all over again. This method is used most often to make a map look good. Putting two boxes next to each other is fine, but you can make it look smoother if you merge the edges into each other. Time consuming, yes, but that's why forging takes patience. Now I want to talk about maps. Bungie has released two maps that are specifically designed to let the player loose on the blank map to make whatever they like. These maps are Foundry and Sandbox. Sandbox is definitely better for making bigger maps without as many limitations, but it's missing several bits of scenery from Foundry that make it lose a bit of its edge. For example, fence walls. Foundry has them, Sandbox does not. These walls cannot be moved through, but most guns will shoot through them. They're basically the opposite of shield doors. The absence of these may not seem like a big deal, and I don't know how important they are to other people, but I use them quite often in my maps. Sandbox, however, features 3 levels to build on, a huge budget, and a massive object limit, so take your pick. I hope this has helped anyone looking to get an edge on their map building. If you've been forging for a while, you probably already know all of what I just told you, so this is mainly aimed at beginners. Once you've mastered these methods, the only thing you'll have to blame your crappy maps on is yourself.